All right, everybody, welcome in. This is the second episode of From Baltimore to Orono. Before I start today's episode, I just want to say thank you to everyone that listened or watched the first episode, to anyone that liked the video or followed on Spotify, followed the Instagram account, followed the Twitter account, or subscribed to the YouTube channel. It means a lot. We reached the first week goals that I set for the episode. For Spotify, I was hoping to get 5 listeners, ended up getting 15. And then for YouTube, I was hoping to get 25 viewers, and you guys crushed it. You guys gave me 126 viewers on the first episode, so that means a lot. So for this week, I'm setting the goal, same goals, 5 listeners for Spotify and 25 viewers for YouTube. And once again, if you haven't followed on Twitter, it's From Baltimore to Orono. It's actually From Baltimore to Orono on all social platforms. I created a group on Facebook too. So if you search up From Baltimore to Orono, it should pop up on Facebook. And then we are also on Instagram now. I think we're up to, I want to say 20 followers. So another goal I would say is hoping to reach 30 followers by the end of this week. So let's see what you guys can do. Once again, thank you guys. And now let's get into the episode. All right, this week's episode is me ranking the top 10 players in the American East Conference. Now, going through all the players, this was pretty rough to do. I changed my list quite a bit over the last few days, rearranged some players. But I think I got the list down. If anyone has critiques of the list, make sure to leave a comment. And also, pronouncing the names of these players, I might screw up. So if you're a fan of the team, fan of the player, just comment down below and correct me. I will not mind. All right, coming in at number 10, the 10th best player in the American East Conference is David Poser out of the University of New Hampshire. He was the team's best shooter last season. He finished first in three-point field goal percentage last year. He shot 40.8%, which, I mean, round up, that's 41%. A lot of coaches, a lot of reporters have praised him on his high-intensity defense. He's a solid rim protector, and he brings a spark to the team. He's, plays with heart. One of those players that, a coach loves to have on his team. He will outwork any player in the conference, in my opinion. And he also played overseas. He's originally from Italy. So he brings that experience over to the American East Conference. David Poser out of the University of New Hampshire. All right, coming in at number 9 on the list, the 9th best player in the American East Conference, is Ace Valentine out of UMBC. He finished top 10 in assists per games in the conference last season. He can attack the hoop very well and finish difficult shots around the rim, as you can see in these highlights that are currently playing. Him attacking the rim also creates open shots for his teammates. His team loves having him as a teammate, I imagine. He averaged 8 points per game last season, and he shot 52.2% last year. There's another guard on his team that I won't name him right now because he's on this list, so I don't want to spoil it. But those two are definitely going to be fun to watch. And Ace Valentine is my 9th best player in the American East Conference. All right, coming in at number 8, we have Jared Frey out of UMass Lowell. He's a transfer from Stony Brook. He played there the last 3 seasons. Shout out to Stony Brook, former American East team. He redshirted his first year. He's a lefty shooter. Has a nice shot form. He averaged 8.3 points per game and shot his career high field goal percentage at 40.8%, which rounds up to 41. He gets a lot of defenders to fall for his shot fake. I noticed that a lot watching his highlights. A lot of defenders, respect his jump shot, so they fall for his pump fakes a lot, which that opens up. Once again, this opens up open shooters for his team. It also creates looks where he can drive, take 1 to 2 dribbles, pull up jumpers. I noticed in the highlights also he's very good at that, where he gets the defender to jump, takes 1 or 2 dribbles, pulls up, knocks it down, or he'll drive. Another defender will come over to help, and he hits his big man right down low for an easy layup. So definitely a solid player. Jared Frey, good shooter. I did get to watch him play once back when I was living in Gainesville, Florida. First ever college basketball game I went to, Florida versus Stony Brook, and which is pretty cool because that was actually his career high in points that night. And I do remember watching him play. He was a good shooter that night. But Stony Brook sadly lost that game to the Florida Gators. But all right, number 7. All right, coming in at number 7, we have the highest rated recruit in UMaine history, Ace Flagg. He's won 3 state championships in 3 different states. He's the first person to ever do that. He won it in Maine, he won it in Florida, and he just won it in North Carolina. A player that every coach would love to have. He plays with heart, very good defender, very good rebounder, and he reads the floor well. He also has great patience around the rim. His patience honestly reminds me of Kyle Anderson, where he just has that slow, even though it's slow, it gets a lot of defenders. He fools a lot of defenders. Let's just say that. But it's a great time to be a UMaine basketball fan. The fact that Ace Flagg wants to return home and play for the University of Maine, every UMaine fan should be pumped for this year, especially coming off last season where we were runners-up in the conference. Now, this year, it's looking pretty good when you add a player like Ace Flagg. All right, coming in at number 6. Now, this guy, he impressed me a lot watching his highlights. His name is Devin Caesar. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Comment down below if I'm not. But Devin Caesar out of UMBC. He is lightning quick. I was shocked with how fast he was. He must be held to defend. My problem was when I played basketball, I was slow as hell. So Devin Caesar, if me and him played one-on-one, I don't think I could stop him because he could easily just drive by me pretty much any time he would want. His speed, it reminds me of a young Russell Westbrook. He averaged 11.5 points per game last season at Old Dominion. He only played in 12 games last year before getting hurt. So it was a small sample size from last season. But, the highlights that I did see, he can create his own shot, and he's good at being able to stop on a dime, which that means what I noticed a lot in his highlights is he'll be running super fast, dribbling up the court super fast, and then he can stop just like that, stop on a dime, pull up for a 3, pull up for a jumper, and knock it down. He'll be very fun to watch this year. I'm going to tune into UMBC games just to watch him play. This was the other guard I was talking about, him and Ace Valentine, two guards at UMBC that you should be watching if you're a huge fan of this conference. All right, coming in at number 5, we have our first player from Vermont University. His name is T.J. Long. T.J. Long only played in 8 games last year before having a season-ending injury. He averaged 11.1 points per game in the games that he played. But the season before that, in the 2023-24 season, he made the all-conference 3rd team. He led Vermont in points per game that year with 12 points per game. And he also led the American East in 3-point percentage that season. Honestly, he has the potential to win Player of the Year, in my opinion. Him and another guard that I won't say right now because I don't want to spoil it. But him and another guard, same as UMBC, going to be super fun to watch. I cannot wait for Vermont and UMBC to play this season just to see how those two duos play against each other. So coming in at number 5, T.J. Long. I heard that not totally sure, but One person told me that he is the preseason player of the year for the conference, but I could not find any information on that. But so I'm not totally sure how true that is. But TJ Long, number 5 on my list. All right, coming in at number 4. Now, before I say this guy's name, let me just say that this guy could easily be number 1 on this list at the end of the year. So I honestly might be doubting him, putting him at number 4. But coming in at number 4 is Demetrius Lilly from Binghamton University. He first played at the University of Penn State, and then he played at LaSalle. He averaged 7.7 points per game last year and 5.8 rebounds. So 8 points, 6 rebounds per game, and only 19 minutes per game. According to the Binghamton website, if he played that efficient in 30-plus minutes on average, his stats would have been, he would have averaged 15.9 points per game and 11.8 rebounds per game. Like I said earlier, don't be shocked if Demetrius Lilly is number 1 on this list at the end of the year and he wins the American East Player of the Year. He can be trouble for defenses because he's a center that can shoot from the 3 and he can shoot it well. So number 4 on my list, Demetrius Lilly. And no, that's not bias because I'm a huge Penn State football fan, not a Penn State basketball fan. So no bias here. Demetrius Lilly deserves to be on this list, especially in the top 5. All right, coming in at number 3, a very good guard, we have Sebastian Robinson from NJIT. He took a huge jump from his freshman season to sophomore year. His pull-up jumper is super smooth. He reads the floor super well. One of those guys that your team, went down, hasn't scored in the last 3 or 4 possessions, and you're saying, God damn, we really need a bucket. So, Sebastian Robinson is the guy you give the ball to when you really need a bucket. He's a dog, and don't be surprised. Don't be surprised this year if he gets a triple-double. There's games where he fills up the stat sheet. He had one game where he had 15 assists, which is the record for the most assists in a game at NJIT University. So, like I said, one of my predictions is he will have a triple-double this year in one game. Coming in at number 2 on the list, I'm going to pronounce his name wrong, so sorry for this. But number 2 on the list, another player from UMBC. That's the 3rd player on this list from UMBC. So shout out to them. Number 2, we got Josh Onunuwo. Not totally sure. Josh Onunuwo. I'm going to go with that. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. And sorry to the UMBC fans if that's totally wrong. Call me an idiot in the comments. But anyway, I was really impressed with the highlights that I watched. He's a strong finisher around the rim. Really great at going to his right. Has a quick post move where he goes to his right, hits that little baby hook shot, or goes to his right and faces up to the basket and finishes strong. So a very good post player. He was 3rd in the American East last season in field goal percentage. He shot 57.7% from the field. And in the 2023-24 season, he was at Columbia, and he shot 61.1% from the field, which led the Ivy League. He's an outside shooter, or I should say, he can knock down the outside shot if needed, but mostly from inside. He kind of, I wouldn't say he reminds me of Bam Adebayo. That's totally wrong. I'm not even going to try to say it again. But Bam from Miami Heat. But he kind of reminds you of that guy that's a big guy that can handle the ball well, good in pick and roll situations, can score down in the post, can hit a mid-range jumper if needed. Pretty much a guy that can do everything on the offensive side. And he's a very good defender and a very good rebounder too. And he also can handle the ball pretty well also. So number 2 on the list, Josh Onunuwo from UMBC. All right, and now we have made it to the number one player on the list. I might have spoiled it earlier when talking about TJ Long, because I was also saying that he had a great teammate and they're going to be a fun duo to watch. But coming in at number one on the list of the top 10 players in the American East Conference, we have TJ Hurley from Vermont University. This guy is an elite shooter. He started all 31 games last season. He made the first team all-conference. He averaged 15.8 points per game, 11 games where he scored 20-plus points, second best individual season in free throw percentage in Vermont history. And in my opinion, he reminds me of Tyler Hero or Peyton Pritchard. So, TJ, if you're a Celtics fan, I'll say, hey, man, you remind me of Peyton Pritchard. But really coming down to it, he reminds me of Tyler Hero at his days at Kentucky. So watch out for TJ Hurley this year. Fun shooter, can shoot from pretty much anywhere. Also, he's got that quick first move, that quick first step where he can get to the rim. TJ Hurley, TJ Long. We got the American East Splash Brothers. That's what I'm calling them this year. Maybe a better name, something to do with TJ's being their first name. But watch out for TJ Hurley this year. Number one player on my list of the top 10 players in the American East Conference. All right, that was the list. Comment down below what you thought about this list. If there's a player that I left off that you're thinking, why the hell is this guy not on the list? If I ranked a player way too high, comment down below. And I'm sorry to the teams that have players that are, good that maybe should be on this list that I didn't include. So sorry about that. But like I said, second episode in, still learning about the conference, learning about the players, the coaches, the teams, getting better each day. So this was a lot of fun to do. All right, before I end today's episode, I am going to throw some honorable mentions out there that players that barely missed my list. Might have been on the list to start the week, but we're taking off before this episode. But first honorable mention, Jeremiah Quigley from Binghamton. Next honorable mention, we got another name which I'm going to struggle with, Killian Gribbian from UMaine. Feel bad for not knowing his name, as I'm a Maine basketball fan, so I'll definitely learn it. Next honorable mention is Amir Lindsay from Albany. I've seen a lot of people high on him. And then my last honorable mention, which maybe people will find shocking that he didn't make the list. In the Lindy Sports magazine, he made the first team, the preseason first team, but it's Ari Fulton from NJIT. So those are the honorable mentions that barely missed my list. I'm definitely going to do a top 10 players from the conference list maybe at the middle of the season, but definitely at the end of the year, just to see, who I was right about and then who I was totally wrong about, who I should have included in the list and who should have never even came close to the list. But anyway, thank you guys for listening on either Spotify or YouTube. Once again, if you haven't followed on any of the social media pages, Facebook, From Baltimore to Orono, Twitter, From Baltimore to Orono, Instagram, From Baltimore to Orono, and then we have YouTube and Spotify. Let's try to reach 25 viewers for YouTube, 5 listeners for Spotify, and let's get the Instagram page to at least 30 followers before next week's episode. And speaking of next week's episode, a little preview, I'll be ranking all the head coaches in the conference, which is definitely going to be a lot of fun in my opinion. My dad and I growing up, cool thing about my dad, like how he enjoys the game is just he's a fans of teams of coaches. Let me word this better. he likes teams because of the coach. That's what he does. So he was a big UNC fan for a while because of Roy Williams. But now that Roy's done, he's a big UConn fan. He's a big Dan Hurley fan. So might get his opinion on the coaches from the conference too, see if he can provide any information there. But like I said, thank you guys for listening to this episode. Like the video if you made it this far. Comment if you made it this far. It would mean a lot. And I will be back next week for a brand new episode of From Baltimore to Orono.